I want to have a chat to you about painting cars. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Ansgar Abruzzi Cup. And we are in the chase now, the final part of the season here at Richmond Raceway. Now, Richmond is a tricky circuit where the cars can get very loose very quickly. So people will be struggling a bit tonight. Expect people to be just having a bit of a hard time out there. But we'll see how they go as we go through the session. So we've got qualifying up at the moment. A few people have set their times. Up at the top at the moment is Joshua Carroll-Walden ahead of Josh Micklemore and Jason Hartigan. So lots of J's up the top of the field at the moment. But as we're just going to be going through qualifying a little bit, just going to go through the actual standings in the chase at the moment. So as we stand in the chase, we've got Jason Martin in the lead after his great finish last time out. And he's up there at the top of the points. Just behind him is Michael Skurlock with Josh Micklemore in third. Fourth place is Edward Foster and Hamish Gallagher in fifth. Sixth place is Danny G with Jason Hartigan in seventh. Eighth is Steve Williams and ninth is Norman Clark. Then we have Matt Hunter and Bradley Allison just inside the chase. Obviously, we've got 11 cars in the chase this year because we had joint 10th place for Hunter and Allison, and those two are in 10th and 11th place. So qualifying is definitely underway at the moment. But before we carry on as well, I'll just introduce my partner up here in the commentary booth, Mr. JP. How are you going, JP? Yeah, it should be a good one tonight. Be interesting to see how everybody goes because obviously those guys at the top of the championship in the chase are going to be thinking about points finishes now. Not great news for Tristan Koch there, although he did manage to put in a fairly good time with that first lap. He managed to put in a 22.092, so just a tiny bit off Phil Otto, but just slots himself ahead of Matt Hunter at the moment. We've still got a couple of guys waiting to go out at the moment. Hamish Gallagher, Mick Wilson, Michael Schroeder, Jason Martin, and Aidan Schultz. So we'll see if they do actually end up going out for this one. But it's always a troublesome thing to do sometimes. That second lap here can be tricky because the tyres grip can be a funny one here. It can actually be quite grippy for the second run. The first run tends to be a bit hard because temperature is something that's hard to get into the tyres here. Yeah, so Mirko, not setting any times in practice. I think he's just a bit late to the actual show tonight, but he's not made it round to start his qualifying lap, unfortunately. He's just a tiny bit too late there. So everybody's going to start gridding up. So we will run through the starting order. So on the first line of the grid, we have Joshua Carroll-Walden with a great pole position there. Some 1/10 faster than the man behind him, Michael Skurlock. Skurlock getting a brilliant qualifying run there, managing to break up the J's. Just behind him on the second row is Josh Micklemore and Jason Hartigan. Third row, we have Danny G and Edward Foster. Fourth row is Neil Pearson and Lachlan. Sixth row is Bradley Allison and James Robbie. Seventh row, Stephen Williams with Adam Roselle. Eighth row, Norman Clark, Raymond Yeager. Ninth is Phil Otto, Tristan Koch. 10th, Matt Hunter, Jason Martin, who didn't set a time. Hamish Gallagher, Mirko Dortnack, Mick Wilson, Michael Schroeder, and Aidan Schultz is rounding out the order in 23rd position and last. Well, strange one. I would have imagined Jason Martin wanting to probably start a bit higher up, but he might be looking at doing a little bit of a strategy call here, just trying to stay out of the front battle, keeping a little bit of distance here so he's a little bit less at risk, so to say, because one of the big problems that can happen here is, well, that first lap, those first couple of laps can be a bit of an accident-prone couple of moments. So accidents can happen here quite easily. So he might be looking at just holding off a little bit just in case any accidents do occur. It's the fresh set, so they get a nice new set of boots for this run. So they start on that fresh set of boots, and then they've got 4 tyres from here to go. Then, so they've got 4 tyres in this session now from this point. So you start out with 5 sets of tyres, the ones you start with, of course, and then 4 sets you can change. Luckily, you don't use the qualifying tyres. It's not like Formula One in that respect, because sometimes if you have a bad run in qualifying, you can have a big spin and end up really chewing through those tyres, getting with flat spots and all those things that you don't want on a tyre for the start of a race. That's it, just keeping himself away from any opening lap carnage that we might see here tonight. So, the pace car is going to go around, and of course, you do have the quite a big pit area in this one as well. So quite a big pit lane. We're going to do 2 runs behind the pace car because it's a short track oval, and that will make a bit of difference, of course. This track only 0.75 of a mile long, so it's about a kilometre, isn't it? I think in new terms. I still use miles. I'm a terrible person for that. No, he hasn't. And the green flag is about to drop. And JCW gets a brilliant start there. Skurlock, though, has managed to get a slightly better start, getting a little bit more grip possibly off the line, but he's going to go up high, and that's going to cost him some positions here. That outside line can really fall back. You can just see Skurlock dropping back behind Josh Micklemore there. Everybody looks to be making it around okay on this first lap. Hopefully, I haven't put the curse of the commentator on them. But up front, you've got JCW getting a great launch away. Josh Micklemore's now going to come hunting for him. Skurlock's going to be sitting out. It looks like Skurlock wants to be taking a slightly higher line than everybody else. So a little bit unusual there for Skurly. We'll see how that goes through the race. But he seems to be sitting up a little bit higher. Same with Danny G back there fighting with Foster. Yeah, he does like to sort of mark his way up the field, passing a few people and muscle his way up there. But I think with the chase in there, he's put a bit more time into the qualifying today and focused a little bit on better, getting a little bit higher up in the order, just to make sure that he can keep a relatively good position in the chase. And of course, he's also doing it, I imagine, for a few fans on Twitch, because he now streams on Twitch for some of the races. And if you want to watch that afterwards, it's Skurlikin on Twitch, and he'll have his race there. So you've got a couple of drivers now streaming, because we've got Josh Micklemore as well, who's doing that. So nice to see some of those drivers doing those, and they can be good to watch after the broadcast. Can be good to pick up some tips on. Yeah, he's managed to get a really good leap at the moment, and he seems to be pretty comfortable on this track. He's actually coming off a really good finish from the Grand National Series last night, where he was battling for second place, being beaten out by his teammate Edward Foster, who took out the championship as well in that series. One to watch out for as well is Jason Hardigan. He's just got back onto the tail of Micklemore now, and he's starting to apply pressure. Skurlock's dropping back a little bit too. And I'm just wondering if Skurlock's just easing the car around. He's not putting too much pressure on those tyres, just trying to save it a little bit and keep the car a little bit better condition for the latter stages of this race. Yeah, Hardigan going down on that lower line, and that's going to be good for him, bad for Josh Mickle, who we might see drop back towards Foster now, just going on that outside line. You just lose a bit of that tyre grip and get a few marbles on there, which aren't fun to have. Yeah, I think he's definitely looking at a longer race here. He's not focusing too much on these early stages, just keeping his nose clean, keeping out of trouble, which are all important things to do in this style of racing, because if you can keep your car nice and straight, you're going to have a much, much nicer time out there. So that does make a big difference. So up at the front, the battle's continuing, and just a bit further back, just towards about 15th, 16th, there's a good little battle going on between Hamish Gallagher, who's just sporting a new paint job for tonight. Nice to see different colour paint on the car. And Phil Otto just going up into the wall, just crinkled the front of that car a little bit. So he's going to start dropping back a little bit. There are a few fights down the field, but one guy I'm just pointing out is Jason Martin down there. He's got up to 14th. He's gained 4 positions so far. Just ahead of Hamish Gallagher there. But he's not making up too much pace at the moment. He's just sort of seems to be struggling in this early stage. Yeah, going down there on that low side. Norman Clark's going to lose a couple of positions just because he was forced up high there, and this is going to allow Hamish Gallagher to get through as well. So that's going to really just hamper Norman Clark. And the problem is on a track like this, Richmond, is when you do get forced up high, as I say, you do get the marbles, your tyres get a little bit messy and a little bit dirty, and it's just the car struggles for a bit. You tend to struggle for about a lap and a half after that, just to get things back into some form of normality. Yeah, he's been sitting there. Danny G sort of lost a little bit of time, I think. He was battling it out with Foster beforehand. Neil Pearson as well is starting to go up behind him, just closing in a little bit on Danny G. It seems like Skurlock's got the car where he wants it now. He's starting to get back onto pace as well. Those early stages, he was really struggling a little bit. But now he's back on the pace and sort of similar pace to everybody around him as well. A lot of these guys were struggling there with early pace on fresh tyres, which is one of those strange things that can happen in oval racing. Is sometimes it's as strange as it sounds. Sometimes fresh tyres can be a bit tricky because, of course, you don't have tyre warmers. You've got to get the tyres up to temperature. You've got to get them working in that temperature range. And with it being night time, of course, the track is much, much cooler, and that makes things a little bit different, of course, because obviously it's much cooler, track's cooler, things like that, and it makes it harder to get some heat into those tyres sometimes. So a lot of people were struggling with the heat on their tyres tonight. As we see, Neil Pearson starting to get much closer to Danny G now, sitting right on his bumper. There's a couple of good little fights starting to appear between Danny G and Neil Pearson. Also a little bit further back, Bradley Allison, Adam Roselle, Jason Martin, and Hamish Gallagher. Yeah, really getting up some good pace there. You did a Carl there, saying the wrong driver's name completely. You did well. Proud of you. But Hamish Gallagher's got a good little fight. Bradley Allison just dropping back now. He got forced up a bit high again, and this is going to sort of cost him. Hamish Gallagher's just doing a great job sitting on the tail of Jason Martin, letting him push through the cars, almost using him as a as a snowplow to get through a couple of those cars, and he's just sitting there, not putting too much pressure on his tyres. He's not having to race as hard, a little bit less risk as well for him, and then just taking those positions once Jason Martin pushes him up high and gets the chance to pounce. Yeah, good moves there. Now, just up at the front, we've got Danny G and Neil Pearson. Not totally at the front, but Neil Pearson's making a move on Danny G now, going down the inside of him and forcing Danny G up high. Gets very close to the wall there, but it's all good. Neil Pearson's managed to make it up to 6th position. Pearson on an absolute charge at the moment. Yeah, setting some good times still. They're setting good lap times at the moment, keeping up on pace and keeping everyone honest. Now Jason Martin's got a bit of free air as well. He's managed to get past Adam Rosell as well. So he's now got some clean air to actually run in. The first time he's had that all race long. So keep an eye on his lap times, because I imagine he's going to start setting some flyers. He's only a couple of milliseconds off of JCW at the moment, his best time. So he's definitely got some pace in that car now. Things are definitely starting to work better for that vehicle. And he's starting to close the gap between himself and Stephen Williams. Yeah, so it shouldn't be too long before we see that battle starting to get back underway. A little bit further back, we've got a little battle forming up between Lachlan and James Robbie at the moment. James Robbie just getting into the wall for a brief moment, though. He just tapped the wall very lightly. And these guys are just in front of Jason Martin. So he's only got Stephen Williams, James Robbie before he gets to Lachlan, Urquijo, and he's going to catch up pretty soon, I reckon, with the pace. But okay, doing a good job at the moment, just keeping the car steady. He's starting to close a little bit on Danny G as well. He is, yeah. Neil Pearson just making contact with the wall there as well. He's pushing very hard. But jump back to Danny G right now, because that's where the action's at, because Lachlan Urquio is absolutely on his tail. So Danny G is going to start feeling the pressure here. Urquio is going to start looking to try and put his nose underneath the rear of that car, get his nose underneath there, and force Danny G wide. And it's going to cost Danny G now, because he's going to have to go really far on that outside line. And we might see Robbie getting through here, and we do. And that's the thing. Urquio put that car perfectly. He just managed to get just enough speed into that corner. He had to brake extremely late. A Danny Ricciardo style move there. Just braking so very late that I don't even think he realised he was braking that late. But he managed to get the nose underneath Danny G, and he just had to lift up a little bit. And that little bit of lifting up cost him, because he ran up on that outside line, tyres got a little bit dirty, lost a little bit of grip, and then the second corner, the second set of corners through turns 1 and 2, that's where Urquio managed to make the pounce, because he didn't have the tyres weren't sticky enough. He was struggling a little bit. Yeah, he's doing a great job at the moment. Just behind him, James Robbie just getting a little bit wide, just losing that tail a little bit. He put the throttle down a little bit too early there. And now this group of cars is going to start getting up towards some of the back markers. Some people, Phil Otto, who's just got a lap down, and Tristan Koch as well. So they're just catching up to those guys, and they're going to have to start passing them. And this could give them opportunities for passing, because at the moment, Danny G has got Jason Martin all over the back of him. And there's a train of cars behind that, with Stephen Williams and Hamish Gallagher, who are really pushing hard to get past them too. I'd say Danny G's struggling, and you're not going to get much use of running together here at Richmond. There's the draft effect's not great here. It's a relatively small track, as we say. It's not even a mile long, and so you don't really get that draft. Danny G just going up wide here. Just Jason Martin's going to take advantage of that, and you're probably going to see Hamish Gallagher now get underneath him, and Danny G's going to have to really work hard to keep him behind him, because he might just struggle through turns 3 and 4 now. As Hamish Gallagher gets Stephen Williams there got so close to the back of Danny G. He had to slap on the emergency brakes there, and that's given Hamish Gallagher the chance to pass. Now we've got Stephen Williams underneath Gallagher. That's going to push him out wide. Gallagher's going to lose a little bit of time here. Williams has got a little bit of a wriggly car though, so he's not got the best traction off the corner, and that's allowed Gallagher to stay in front. Just in front of them though, a lapped car just getting into the wall. Sparks flying there from Tristan Koch's car. So that would have been a little bit of a wake-up call for those guys. When you see a car go into the wall in front of you, you do sort of clench up a little bit, grit your teeth, and take a deep breath. Yeah, that... He has. He's doing really well at the moment. He's just flying. He seems to be just working on this track tonight. And as I say, he's coming off a really good finish in the Nationwide Series. Very different cars, of course. Driving those 87 cars is a very different skill to driving these Cup cars. But he's definitely doing a good job of it. And he is really working. Well, he's really just switched on tonight. It seems to just be working for him. Just jumping back a little bit, we've got some good battles going on between Gallagher, Williams, and Danny G still, as Gallagher just gets down underneath Danny G. Yeah, Gallagher's got some good pace now, and he's been going well all night. He's now got to catch back up to Jason Martin, and big incident in front of them. Neil Pearson involved in that one. I think Pearson just going back and having a look at that one. I think maybe he's just braked a little bit too hard, a little bit too early, and Lachlan looks like Lachlan has just gone into the back of him, just tapped him a little bit there. Pearson just having to brake a little bit harder than what Lachlan was expecting there, I think, and just tapped him. Not big impact for Pearson, so he's going to lose some positions here, but car should be relatively okay. Shouldn't be too much damage to that, but that has brought out the caution. Yeah, they both did a good job as well. Pearson just managing to get the car, keep it straight in that spin as well, because when you get a car tap you on the back like that, you really have a moment of fear. Pearson got a little bit of help from the wall hanging him back, but he managed to get back on the throttle, back on the gas quite early, so he only dropped down to 12th position. Yeah, big question now is who's going to take 2 tyres, who's going to take 4. I imagine they're probably going to only take 2 tyres, or some of them. Looks like most of the field's taking 4, just to throw me off there, of course. But a few people might have tried a gamble on 2 tyres only with that one. We'll see what happens when they'll come out the pit lane, once everyone is once everything starts getting back to normal. Because chatting to the guys beforehand, they were saying tyre wear's not too bad here. They were making about 60, 70 lap runs without too much trouble. So we'll have to see how that works out. Obviously, taking all 4 tyres usually works out better for you. But sometimes on a track like this, you can be surprised and find those inside tyres tend to work quite well, despite the fact that they're a little bit worn. Sometimes they don't wear as quick as some of the others. That's it. And he has a teammate beside him as well, in Jason Hartigan. So that's going to give him a little bit of a confidence boost. Obviously, teammates race each other, and I imagine you're not giving too many directions to your drivers to say don't race each other, just don't crash. I imagine is the usual consensus. Well, that's it. It's a little bit easier in the Formula Racing and some of the Tim Top Racing to sort of say don't take teammates out, because there's a little bit more control. But stock car racing is so unpredictable sometimes, and you're racing so close. It is quite easy to take a teammate out or just make a mistake and have that happen. But one of the advantages of your teammates starting next to you is you have that little bit of confidence because you know how they race, you know what they're thinking. You're probably in communication with them as well. So you can usually orchestrate something to work out a little bit better for you. Of course, JCW not in the chase, so he is racing for the sake of racing at the moment and to secure that 12th place in the championship as well, the final drivers of the chase. So he's going to be trying his best to secure that position, and obviously, it will be good for Hartigan to win and help his championship out. But as long as he finishes ahead of the other guys in the chase, that's all that matters. So those two can work together quite well now. Josh Mickelmore and Michael Skurlock behind him, though, I imagine they're going to try it hard as we go back to green here at Richmond Raceway. Yeah, he drops the hammer quickly there, and he's gonna pull away quite quickly, and it's just cost Jason Hartigan a little bit. As Foster loses it a little bit, he manages to keep a hold of it, but he's going to lose a lot of positions from that. He lost the back end. He's going to drop down a bit, but he's managed to recover it. He's down there with Danny G and James Robbie now fighting away. But great restart there by JCW. Just dropped the hammer perfectly, got a good restart, got away cleanly. No wheel spin, no slipping, didn't lose the front end. Good restart there for JCW. Yeah, that's going to be the big thing as Mickelmore just runs a little bit wide there, and that's going to help out JCW's charge to just try and build up that gap again. Obviously, it's a bit disheartening when you do lose that gap. You build it up, you work very hard to get a nice big gap, and then all of a sudden it disappears on you. But that's it. If it remains green from here, they literally only have to make one more stop. We're probably looking at a one-stopper tonight anyway, but this is just going to make their lives a little bit easier. They won't have to look after the tyres quite as much. They can go a little bit harder than they thought they'd have to. So it just gives them that opportunity to race a little bit harder now, which is what we like to see. It's a good equaliser, the caution flag. Yeah, just trying to keep a little bit of extra life in that tyre. Definitely a good idea. A little bit further back, you probably just saw in the very back end of the picture, Foster getting past Okio there. James Robbie's probably going to get past him as well, as he had to go out on that high line. That's just going to cost him a little bit of speed, but he's putting on a good fight at the moment, just next to James Robbie, trying his best to keep there. But you're not going to be able to hold that position forever, and eventually traction is going to lose out on you, and Robbie will get through, which he has done. So Robbie's going to slide in there. Now Okio has to get into a position to stop Danny G getting past. That's an easier thing said than done, because Danny G is a very hard racer. Behind them as well, you've got Stephen Williamson Gallagher, and Hamish Gallagher looks like a man on a mission tonight. That new Bad Blood livery by his favourite singer, of course, Taylor Swift, is helping him out there, and he's starting to really close in on Danny G. He's working his way up the field quite well. Yeah, he's really looking quite racy out there. Another person that's doing quite well and looking quite racy is Jason Martin. The thing that we're quite used to saying up here in the commentary box, because Jason Martin is one of those drivers that is hard to keep down and hard to keep back there in the lower places. And he's definitely doing a good job tonight. He's worked his way up to 4th place now, and he's starting to fight with Michael Skurlock. So 13 positions gained for Martin. Great job so far. Now he's got to get past Skurlock. And again, that's one of those things that's easier said than done. Not an easy man to pass at the best of times. Got a bit loose there, though, and that's going to allow Jason Martin to get underneath him, go down the inside, and get through. Of course it was. It's a common issue that we have up here in the box. It's like me saying they'll probably take 2 tyres and they all take 4 tyres. Just expect the opposite of whatever we say, because commentators have no luck. Yeah, not much between them in lap times, but Micklemore is just a tiny bit faster, a couple of milliseconds faster, but it's still faster, and that's the main thing. Is this kind of racing, this distance from each other, a millisecond makes a big difference. Also now as well, we've got the 2 Jasons battling it out. Martin has caught Hartigan quite quickly. Martin has been selling some blisteringly fast laps, and he's right on the back of Hartigan now as well. And those two are putting on a great little battle. Hartigan just positioning his car a little bit lower, trying to hold Martin off, but Martin definitely has the speed. Martin's very quick into the corners as well, getting very close to the back of Hartigan. Hartigan just trying to brake a little bit earlier, trying to throw Martin off, trying to cause him to have to slam on the brakes a bit harder, make a mistake possibly, and then he's getting back on the power a little bit earlier than Martin, just to allow him to have that little bit of straight to eke ahead a little bit. It's what you have to do on a track like this, where it's pretty much a single line. It's not one of those tracks where you can run multiple lines, unfortunately. It is very much the sort of lone line that you run here. And if you can position that car just right every lap, it's going to be a hard thing to get past you. Yeah, well, Joshua Carroll-Walden is a couple of attempts quicker than Josh Mickelmore. He's setting some great lap times again, and he's just on fire at the moment. He's really doing a good job out there, and just setting those lap times and keeping that gap at a good arm's length for himself. He's not pushing too hard. You can see he's driving relatively smoothly. He's not pushing the car over its limits. He's just found that perfect balance here. It just looks like he's just made it click tonight, and it is just working for him. Yeah, he's doing a really good job of just getting that car working for him, and getting the car in good positions. Okay, we appear to have an issue with JP's mic, unfortunately. So you've probably just heard me talking and then long pauses, unfortunately. I apologise about that. We will get that fixed as soon as possible. I must say, I'm not crazy. JP is here talking to me. But yeah, up at the front, Joshua Carroll is doing a great job of just pulling away at the moment. Really, really good drive from him tonight. He's just setting those times, setting that pace, and keeping it there. Basically, that's where he's doing the good job at the moment. As we just hit lap 75 now, this race is absolutely flying through.
I was going to say, Carl, no, I only just arrived. I don't know what you're talking about. You must be absolutely losing it. RS14, thanks for the heads up. Can you hear us now? Or can you hear me? Because you could hear Carl before.
Back on the stream, it appears. I just had a double check as well there. Yes, well, I mean, yeah. What can I say? I do have my imaginary JP who I talk to through most of the days, unfortunately. When you're not in the commentary booth with me, I've got to talk to somebody in my lonely life.
And this was the best commentating I've ever done too, by the way, folks. The section of commentating that you didn't hear is the absolute best commentating that I've ever done.
It put Murray Walker to shame. I've never heard commentary that good in all my life, and it's why I sounded somewhat frazzled towards the end there, because I couldn't believe the commentary was just that damn good. Now we've got a good little battle coming on between Gallagher and Foster now for 6th and 7th. Gallagher, as I say, still on a charge there, and just behind them, actually, you can see Opio just making a bit of a move on James Robbie, just trying his best to put him up on that high line and make him have to defend. James Robbie not falling for it, though, keeping low and keeping him behind him.
G'day, James. How are you, mate? He's watching the broadcast tonight. He was the one that's saying, "Oh, are you on your own there, Carl?" I wish I could actually put on my best Murray Walker voice, because I think that would be absolutely gold.
Yes, I won't make our listeners suffer through my Murray Walker impressions, and I won't give James the ammunition that he would love so much if I did do that.
No, give it to him.
And it's go for Joshua Carroll Walden as he gets underneath Mirko Dortanac. There we go. That's the best I can do. Jumping back a little bit now, we've got a good four-way battle actually between Josh Micklemore, Michael Skurlock, Jason Martin and Hartigan. Those four are really racing hard, and Jason Hartigan is really putting pressure onto the back of Micklemore.
He is really applying the blowtorch onto the back of Micklemore's car now.
Yeah, he's putting as much pressure as he can on. Really, really good job from him. He's doing a fantastic drive.
He's trying to get under. Looks like he's going to get under there.
He's got Micklemore up high, and this is going to be the point where he can pounce. Micklemore's going to get slightly better traction off the corner, but if Hardigan can stay on the bottom line here, he's going to make that move stick. As you see Micklemore going up, those marbles on the track are going to slow them down, cause a little bit less traction for the car as they go across the start-finish line, and this is going to be Hardigan's chance to get underneath Micklemore. And Martin's just sitting there, blocking the chance for Mickelmore, and Mickelmore's into the wall. As I say, low grip out there. Martin just blocking Mickelmore's chance to get down underneath and back onto that lower line. Cost him because he's gone up into the wall. Big hit there on the front right-hand side. That's given Jason Martin the position, and we're going to see Skurlock now go over the back of Josh Mickelmore here and try and make that move as well.
Yeah, teammates, absolutely. Love between them, not when you're racing. These guys are racers first, and if they see an opportunity, they are going to go for it.
Yeah, I don't know if you can call them teammates. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's sort of a team. I'm trying to think of it. Team acquaintances, I think, is the best way to go about it. Because you don't have friends in racing sometimes, and definitely not there. Jason Martin positioning his car so Mickelmore couldn't get back underneath, and that really cost him a bit. Jason Martin now putting the pressure onto Hardigan, trying his best to go up and over, trying to fake out to Hartigan that he's going to go the outside. He tries to get underneath him, tries to go the inside this time. Hartigan manages to block him off, gets in a brilliant position and keeps that second place. And this is all helping out Joshua Carroll-Walden, who's built out a fairly decent lead now of almost 3 seconds.
Yeah, this is it's not show friends, this is show business, and it looks like Jason Martin's getting a little sniff there, but nowhere near close enough to the back of Hardigan. Hardigan seems to know exactly where to put the car to make it difficult for Martin to find a gap.
Absolutely, and he's just doing a great job. Great defensive drive here from Hartigan. And again, Hartigan's one of those guys that is pretty much a rookie in this championship. As strange as it sounds, we did see him a couple of races last year towards the tail end of the season, but he's a road racing specialist. He has come to ovals for the first time. A little bit further back, Skurlock is making the move on Josh Mickelmore now. Across the start-finish line, Skurlock's managed to get underneath Josh Mickelmore, and he's going to make this one stick as Mickelmore goes on the outside, almost hits the wall there again as he's hung out to dry on that outside line. Loses the grip, manages to save the car though, but he's going to start losing time here as Skurlock gets through. Now Hamish Gallagher's spotted this, smelt blood in the water, and is coming up behind him.
It's, as we said last week, Skurlock, the silent assassin, just waits for his opportunity and then just makes that move, and 9 times out of 10 he makes it stick. Yeah,
he's a great guy to race against. He's very fair, very clean, and very hard to race against as well. Well, that's the thing. Some of these guys, they are very fair, very strong, but it's they're not going to make it easy for you. You have to be on your A game when you're racing them as well, because they really like to put their cars somewhere awkward, and you've got to really think about where you're placing your car as well. It's a very tricky thing to do racing.
Absolutely, and as much as Hardigan is placing his car perfectly to prevent Martin from finding a gap, Martin is just there, just sitting there waiting, putting the pressure on Hardigan, waiting for Hardigan to make a mistake so he can just pounce.
And if you watch Martin's moves,
and it looks like, sorry Carl, it looked like there might have been a little sniff there, but Hardigan had him well covered.
Yeah, it's here would be great we could have a mirror camera on from Jason Hardigan's point of view, because right now what Jason Martin's doing is he's trying to distract Jason Hardigan. He's doing his best to go left, right. He's getting close. He's getting a little bit further back. He's putting that pressure on. And you can see again, he's just trying his best to go down low. He doesn't have the grip on those front tyres to get to that position quite yet at those speeds. But he's positioning his car a little bit lower, a little bit higher each lap. All of those little movements you see in your mirror, it distracts you a little tiny bit, and it can really throw you off, as we see here from the bumper cam of Hartigan. And this is kind of what he sees in the mirror as Martin gets a bit of a run now. Is he going to make it stick? He's going down the inside, and he's got it there. Good move from Martin. It's side by side as they come through onto the back straight now. Hardigan's going to lose a little bit of time here from that outside line. A little bit of grip lost, and Martin's managed to make it stick finally. Hartigan just leaving him a little bit too much of a gap. Couple of millimeters gap there, and that was enough for Martin to go through and get that position.
And the smart move from Hardigan really was to to have a slight lift and try to slot in behind Martin as quickly as he could. If he stayed up on that high line too long, Skurlock would just catch up too quickly to him, and then he would be under pressure from Skurlock.
He would be, and just jumping back a couple of positions, Hamish Gallagher now making the move on Josh Micklemore. Josh Micklemore limping with a slightly damaged car now. That front end is probably not feeling that great, and Gallagher has just done a fantastic move again, chopping down the inside. Looks like he's got much more front grip at the moment, and that is helping him an enormous amount. So Gallagher up to 5th position now, and he's going to start chasing down the group of Skurlock, Hartigan, and Martin. Martin is trying his best to get away now. He's trying to catch up because he's still just under 3 seconds away from Joshua Carroll Walden, but he's setting some very, very good lap times. He's a fair bit faster than JCW at the moment. 2/10 last lap round, 10th this time round. So he is starting to catch up, close that gap a little bit. Meanwhile, you've got Jason Hartigan and Michael Skurlock, who are 3.5 seconds behind. So Martin needs to close that gap as Hartigan just makes a slight bit of contact with the wall, and this could be the chance Skurlock needs to look at making the move. He's going to catch up to him as they go across the start-finish line here, and he might be able to get the nose a little bit closer to Hartigan and possibly put him off a bit.
And we see James Robbie going into the pits, so he pulls the trigger early and goes into the pits for some tyres and fuel, I'd say.
Yeah, pitting on lap 100.
This is
for that first stop. So it's just to get them to the end now, because we've only got 50 laps to go tonight, but they're going to be just on that point where they're not going to be able to go that full distance. So I imagine we'll see everybody coming in for one more stop. We might see a couple of people try their best to hang out there and see if they can make it, but I don't think anyone's going to make it home on fuel off the top of my head. But tyre wear, definitely, they're going to be struggling quite a lot.
Yeah, so now it's going to be down to what are the leaders going to do? When are they going to pull the trigger and come in? And
I think we might see Skurlock coming in here. I think we're going to see Skurlock possibly... No, he doesn't come in. Looks like he was just positioning the car a little bit to possibly come in. He's got Hamish Gallagher all over the back of him now. Gallagher's caught up. Great job from Gallagher. Just to,
James Robbie just gone around.
Oh, big incident. And that's gone into Jason Hartigan. Hartigan is into him.
We're just going to the replay now, Carl. And it looks like James Robbie just did it all on his own. And Skurlock was involved in that one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just gone round as he's gone there and gone up into the barrier. He's tried to move down. He didn't hold his position. He was right on the racing line, and instead of holding his position, he went down the track. Jason Martin got in contact with him as well. Just a very slight tap to Jason Martin. And, of course, everybody was looking to go down underneath him, and that caught Hartigan and Skurlock out. Jason Hartigan, though, lots of damage to that car. That could be the end of his race for tonight. Yeah,
that's really disappointing for Jason Hartigan, and that's really closed things up a lot. Although JCW still had a slight advantage when he entered pit lane. So let's see if he can hold that advantage, and let's see what he's going to do tyre wise here.
We'll see what he can do here. They're all going to go 4 tyres here. I don't think anyone's going to risk it going for just single tyres now. Obviously, the traction is going to be the main thing. Josh Carroll getting out well. Jason Martin getting out behind him. Mirko Dornak is still circulating out there. I think he'll see him coming in for a stop.
And JCW easily made the transition through the pits and has retained the lead. Although now he is really going to come under fire from Jason Martin.
Yeah, Jason Martin, we've seen him being quite a hard charger. And another one behind him that's been a hard charger tonight, Hamish Gallagher. He's now sat in 3rd position. So expect to see those cars start to make up some positions. It's also given Foster a chance to get a bit closer to Josh Micklemore. So Foster's going to be licking his lips trying to get past Josh Micklemore right here. Urquio's doing a good job. He's still sat there in 6th. Stephen Williams there in 7th. 8th, Danny G, who seems to be struggling a bit tonight. Not having the best night out there. Seems to be just struggling a little bit for pace. Still in the top 10, though, so good job from him. Then we've got Bradley Allison up there as well. And doing a good job for Bradley Allison. He's just having a pretty solid race. He's not doing anything too crazy. He's been circulating well, not putting too much pressure on himself. And of course, he's in the chase, remember. So he's just trying his best to get a good finishing position. Just behind him is Norman Clark as well, one of our chase drivers. So Norman's going to be looking at trying to get the best finish he can as well to start helping him with the chase as it goes on. Next in line for the chase is Michael Skurlock, Matt Hunter. So Matt Hunter down there in 16th place. So again, he's going to be trying to get the best finish he can, and this is going to be helping him out quite a bit, having two of the rivals pretty much out of this race in Hartigan and Skurlock.
Absolutely. Now, Carl, let me put this to you. Your JCW. What are we? We're looking like we're close to 50 laps to the end of the race. Do you go all out and try to get that gap on Jason Martin, or do you conserve those tyres a little bit first?
You push your foot through the floor of the car and go as hard as it possibly can right now. Because if Jason Martin gets in front of you, he's going to build up a gap and you're not going to get it back. This is going to be a short stint. We're only going to have 40 laps to the finish. So those tyres are going to easily make it. You basically got free rein to burn those tyres up. So just push as hard as you can. It's going to be pretty much a sprint race from here.
Yeah, look, Jason Martin isn't the guy that you would want to have behind you, but he's certainly not the guy that you want to have in front of you. And JCW gets a great start.
He does, and you're just getting from the back there. Jason Martin getting a bit of a push from Josh Micklemore, but basically just pushing him along at the moment. He's pretty much just bump drafting Jason Martin at that restart, trying to get him ahead of JCW. Didn't work quite well, and it's given Gallagher a chance to get underneath, so Gallagher could get second place here.
Yeah, Gallagher's looking good.
And we've seen speed from Gallagher all night. That car has been fast. He's been up there all night long. He's been right behind Jason Martin pretty much the whole time. And Jason Martin at the moment is sort of stuck on that outside line. Those fresh tyres are going to help out an enormous amount in that respect, but they're only going to last so long, and he's going to start getting things like marbles and a little bit of junk on those tyres. So he's going to want to drop down very soon, just so he doesn't go into the wall, because it's very easy to go up a little bit high, especially because these cars are a bit cold, they're low PSI, so you've got to be a bit careful not to go too quick, too fast, because you can make a mistake very easily.
Yeah, and I was about to say, with Gallagher and Martin fighting like that, that's going to allow JCW to sort of clear out a little.
Very much so. This is going to be... JCW is going to be looking in his mirror and smiling about the fact that those guys are starting to fight, because the more they fight, the further he can get along. It's going to be very helpful for him in that respect.
And being at the pointy end of the field, having the track to himself, he's able to place his car exactly where he wants it and just get through those corners beautifully. You can see the body language on the car just goes through those corners so nicely, and he's just able to get on the gas that little bit earlier. Whereas everyone behind him, they're just trying to chase him down as hard as they can.
He doesn't have to compromise one bit here, and he doesn't have any dirty air drafting onto his car either, because although Hamish Gallagher's going to get a little bit of a draft on those straight lines, get a little bit less of the drag factor, he's going to be getting hot, dirty air hitting his car, and that can affect your turning. It can make the car feel a little bit sluggish. When you get in that dirty air as well, you lose a little bit of front-end grip because there's not quite as much downforce on the front as you normally would have. So again, that can factor into tyre wear. It can factor into placing the car, and of course you can get a little bit hotter in the car as well. So he's just at the moment positioning the car just somewhere nice and not really doing too much in the way of pushing at this stage. He's holding on to JCW. He's managing to keep that about half a second gap, and that's what he wants to do at the moment. Just a little bit further back now, we got Foster on the back of Micklemore. Micklemore has still got, remember, he got that damage on the front of his car earlier on, and he's definitely lost some speed from that because we saw him much faster earlier on. Foster applying pressure to the back of Micklemore, trying his best to get past that car, get up into the top three.
Yeah, we saw Foster last week make an amazing run through the field, only to come under some pretty bad luck at the end there. So he's really going to want to make amends for that this week, and he's looking very racy, and he's definitely looking like he's going to have a go at Micklemore at some stage.
He is. He's going to do his best to stay up there, and I don't think we're going to see him too many risks, of course, because it is the championship he's thinking about. But of course, Micklemore is in that championship. He's in that chase. So if Foster finishes ahead of him, that's only going to help his season out. He's got Danny G behind him, who is another one of those guys in the chase. So he's sort of defending against him as well. He's probably going to want to try and get up there a little bit further. Having Gallagher and Martin finish ahead of him is not really perfect. But with the poor luck he had last week, it will be... I'm sure he'll be a bit happy with that if he can get up there.
Yeah.
Just jumping back a little bit, sorry. We have got Jason Hardigan on a bit of a run, you've got to say. He's really pushing the car at the moment and trying his best to move up the field. He's just got past Raymond Yeager for 10th position now. He's missing the whole front end of that car, but he is still going hard. He's got to chase down Bradley Allison now, and now he's out of the draft of the cars in front of him. It might start hindering him a little bit. Michael Skurlock as well is just going on, just trying his best to get onto the back of Norman Clark. So those guys are trying now for that recovery drive, trying their best to get back up there to the pointy end of the grid.
Absolutely, and you can just get the sense that Hardigan is just willing those extra few kilometres out of that car because that car is looking extremely second-hand at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's removed the petrol from the gas tank and just put pure rage in there because he's muscling that car along, and I don't know how he's managing to get that speed out of the car with that much damage. He probably has some engine damage as well from where he got the hit, so he's probably down a little bit on horsepower from those guys around him. So even more of a decent job he's doing. Obviously, a short track like this is not going to be too bad for the aero, but the engine, the horsepower, is what you need on a track like this because you do start struggling. Just up at the front, Hamish Gallagher and Jason Martin having a bit of a battle. Hamish Gallagher did get through past Martin. Martin's managed to get past Hamish Gallagher now, but those two are still battling it out, and that's just allowing Joshua Carroll-Walden to build up a bit more of a gap.
Yeah, so that gap's come out to almost 1.2 seconds now.
Yeah, really good job. JCW has been pretty much driving a flawless race tonight. You can't say anything else about it, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's almost put on a masterclass tonight. He's led this one from beginning to end. He's never really looked like he's been challenged. Although, look, it's not over until you cross that line and the checkered flag comes out.
Well, that's it. It is racing, and anything can happen in racing. A giant cat could run across the track, flip his car over, and then everything is done. You never know what's going to happen. But so far, he has done a great job, start to finish, qualifying first, running first all race long. He just seems to have that little bit of extra pace on everybody else. Jason Martin's probably the closest to him in overall pace. And even then, fastest lap-wise, JCW is still about a tenth faster in those fastest laps. Best lap of the race so far for JCW is a 21.46. Jason Martin is a 21.57. Hamish Gallagher is a 21.55. So those guys are all definitely quick. But JCW has been faster all night long.
And we are just loading on the commentator's curse onto JCW now. If he makes it across the line, it's not going to be because of us, that's for sure.
Now, if he makes it across the line in one piece in first place, it's going to be a miracle from here. I'm sure I'm going to cop it if anything does happen to him. But yeah, he's doing a great job. A little bit further back now, Foster's starting to drop off. It looks like he's starting to struggle a little bit with this pace of the race. And his teammate Erkir is just starting to catch up to him. and put a little bit of pressure on him. Foster's got a bit of a gap now between himself and Danny G. So he's doing a good job just to climb up there a little bit and get back up the path. A bit further back in 10th and 11th place, we've got Hartigan and Skurlock. Skurlock doing a good job to recover. He's managed to get himself ahead of Norman Clark, and that's a important place to be for both Hartigan and Skurlock, because, of course, Clark is one of his rivals in the chase. So that's going to help them out a little bit here.
Yeah, and just look at the front of Hartigan's car. You would think that probably the reason why he's able to go as fast as he does is because he's not carrying as much weight as Skurlock. But yeah, that car is going to be suffering from all sorts of aero and engine problems.
That's it. A little bit of extra cooling, maybe that will help it a little bit. But yeah, you can just see he is struggling with a bit of pace, and we can't really see what's damage is done. We can see the exterior damage here. The new damage model, of course, is great because we get to see the inside of that car, all the springs, the suspension, the dampeners, all that kind of stuff. And you can also see the rake of the car as well, that the toe and the rake on that front wheel. Just see how much it is. How much toe is on that. It's very negative camera on that.
Yeah, and it's only I think from here it's only a matter of time as to when Hartigan's going to succumb to Skurlock. But while all this is going on, up the front, Martin has been able to reel in JCW somewhat. Now, JCW has the luxury of that lead, and all he needs to do is to maintain that. So maybe he's thinking at the moment, let Martin use those tyres up, and come the last half a dozen or so laps, 10 laps, then he can open it up some more.
Yeah, he's just eased off a little bit. Martin is setting some good pace, so he's about a tenth quicker than JCW at the moment. Quickest guy out there at the moment is Jason Martin. How many times have we said that he is just a phenomenal driver, Jason Martin? He's just got some seriously good skill on those ovals, and he's one of those drivers. If you manage to beat him, it's a good feeling because you know that you've done the best you can do when you can manage to beat Jason Martin.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's really reeled in JCW. He's down to 0.3 of a second, and he's really moving now.
He is. Just jumping back a little bit right here. We've got a great battle going on between Jason Martin's teammate Danny G and Stephen Williams. So again, battle for chase positions here between these guys. Stephen Williams is really applying the pressure to Danny G. Brekowitz is really struggling, it seems, out there tonight. He's not had the best night. He's still running in the top 7 though. He's doing a good job, but he just doesn't seem to have the overall pace that is needed. He's just struggling that little bit for top end pace. So at the moment, Stephen Williams is putting him under immense pressure and just coming up right behind him. He's ducking to the outside, ducking to the inside again, similar to what we saw earlier on in the race with Jason Martin. Now he takes that inside. He very late on the brakes there, gets a great move underneath Danny G. Danny G is going to get a little bit better drive off the corner on this back straight again. We've seen that a number of times, but when they come into turns 3 and 4, and a little bit of contact there, Stephen Williams just coming into him, just sliding up the track a little bit, just offsetting Danny G slightly, but getting past. Great move from Stephen Williams, getting up there into 7th place.
Yeah, you could see Stephen's car sort of understeering through there, and when we were on the onboard shot with him, but he still managed to make that move stick. But yeah, Danny G just hasn't seemed to be happy with the car tonight. He's struggled all night with his car.
Yeah, just struggling a bit with overall pace, it seems, and especially in slightly longer into the run as we hit lap 142 out of 150 this time round for JCW. So we're getting very close to the end of this race. He's got about half a second gap between himself and Jason Martin, but Jason Martin is flying into the corner there. Really late braking. That's going to cost him some time. He's going to lose position on this. I think Jason Martin's just trying his best to get up there onto the back of JCW and try and get past here. Yeah,
it looked like he was held up a little bit by lap traffic, but yeah, he went just maybe a little bit too deep into the corner, and that cost him on corner exit, and it's given JCW a little bit of a free kick, a little bit of breathing space. But having said that, he's coming up onto three slower cars, and looks like they're racing for position.
Well, that's it. There are a lot of guys that are racing for spots at the moment, a little bit lower down the field. They're sort of all over the place at the moment. It's hard to know where to look exactly, and that's Adam Rosell, Matt Hunter, and I think Tristan Koch is in that battle. Nope, sorry. Adam Rosell, Matt Hunter, they're both racing pretty hard at the moment. Matt Hunter doing a good job down there on Adam Rosell at the moment. Hunter in that very distinctive Riley Curtis design car, the yellow and black paint job. And he managed to make the move on Rosell, who's gone up into the barrier, managed to hold it well. But he's gone up into the barrier, a little bit of damage there for him. But he's going to try and stick that position out for as long as he can, because again, remember, Matt Hunter is in the chase too. So he's going to want to try and not lose too much time on these guys. He's going to want to just try and stay a lap down just in case that caution flag comes out and we get a green-white checker finish, which can still happen, of course. But he's going to try his best to stay up there with those leaders as Joshua Carroll goes underneath him and makes that pass.
Yeah, and Matt Hunter didn't make it hard for JCW either. He just stayed to the high line, and he was just patient and waited until JCW was able to make that move stick.
He did. Just jumping back to P10, 11, 12, 13th and 14th, Jason Hartigan is really trying his best at the moment, racing with Raymond Yeager. He's fallen just behind Skurlock and Norman Clark now, and got Mirko Dortnack closing in. I think the damage is finally starting to really hinder Jason Hardigan's race, unfortunately. It looks like he's lost quite a bit of speed from that incident. The engine's probably overheating a little bit. So, unfortunate for him, he's dropping back a bit. As they've come through the lap traffic, Jason Martin hasn't really been able to close the gap too much. He made up about a tenth of a second, but then started losing it again. Really close battle behind, though, between Lachlan Yuriko, between Foster, Lachlan, Okio, Stephen Williams, Danny G, and those guys are pretty close at the moment, all fighting for position. Foster's got a little bit of a help from Tailgun Charlie in that Okio, but good little racing there as we come on to lap 150. So the white flag is out for the hybrid racing simulations white flag lap. Joshua Carroll Walden is still in the lead. Good position for him. Jason Martin can't do anything about this one. And Joshua Carroll Walden crosses the line. Checkered flag out. Brilliant victory there for JCW.
Absolutely. And as we said, he just put on a masterclass tonight. Took the pole for the race and was never headed again. Even during the pit stops, he managed to get in quickly, get out ahead of everyone else, and maintain that lead.
And a good bit of racing on the last lap for the final couple of positions. Raymond Yeager just taking Norman Clark at the last moment, getting up there to 11th place. Michael Skurlock recovering to 10th place. Good recovery from him. Jason Hardigan, unfortunately, finishing 13th. A very unlucky finish for him tonight. But what can you say? Joshua Carroll Walden drove a perfect race, absolutely flawless all the way through that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well-deserved win. And a brilliant recovery from Jason Martin, up 16 places to finish in second. Hamish Gallagher up 16 places as well to finish in third. So fantastic driving by these guys.
Yeah, great rising by those. And that's JCW's second win in the Cup. Brilliant job for him. He's going to be stoked about that one, I'm sure. So let's quickly run through that finishing order. So up in first place was JCW, Joshua Carroll Walden for the JP Simshed team. Second place was Jason Martin. Great drive from him tonight for the Mitch Motorsport team. Hamish Gallagher there in third. Again, another great drive from Hamish Gallagher. And that's going to help him out for the chase too. So obviously those two are the highest chase drivers finishing. Josh Micklemore as well, chase driver there in fourth place with Edward Foster. Another chase driver as well in fifth place. Lachlan Okio, sixth. Stephen Williams managed seventh in the end ahead of Danny G, Bradley Allison, Michael Skurlock. So Stephen Williams got the best out of the chase for those ones. Michael Skurlock finishing 10th after that earlier incident. Raymond Yeager managed 11th place. Good run for Raymond. Norman Clark 12th with Jason Hartigan 13th. 14th was Mirko Dortnack with 15th, Matt Hunter, Adam Rosell 16th, Tristan Koch 17th, 18th Phil Otto, 19th Mick Wilson, James Robbie 20th, 21st was Neil Pearson, Michael Schroeder and Aidan Schultz did not start the race. But yeah, absolutely dominant victory from JCW there. And good results for quite a few chase drivers. Bradley Allison, I imagine, is going to be quite happy with that ninth place as well. Of course, rookie drive for Allison as well, and doing a great job up there in the chase.
Yeah, fantastic drive by Allison tonight. Great drive by everyone. Let's grab these guys and let's have a chat to them. Who do you want to talk to first?
Well, let's grab down the third place man, Hamish Gallagher.
Hamish Gallagher, here we go. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try again. Here we go. That worked this time.
Good evening, Hamish Gallagher. Congratulations on P3 for the race at Richmond tonight for the Ansgar Britsky Cup.
Hey, thanks, Carl.
Nice to have you back in the booth. Been a little bit of time, but a good finish for yourself there. A good run for you in the end there as well. You made up 16 positions in that race. You didn't qualify earlier on. Was that a bit of a strategic call, or was it just a sort of didn't make it into qualifying?
No, yeah, I ballsed up my quali because it was way slipperier than I thought it was going to be. So I went out there and just went to go, hang it all out, and I made an absolute meal of it. So I figured I'll best to start in the back because I didn't trust myself running up front. And it was a really weird race. Just like me and Jason, Jason Martin, he must have messed his quali up as well. So we just started at the back and just drove our way through, but had absolutely nothing for JCW. He brained us all tonight. So big ups to him.
Yeah, it was very dominant from him, but yourself as well. You seem to have the pace all night. You were pretty much racing Jason Martin most of the night. We saw you two having some good battles out there. Passing on the track didn't look too easy tonight.
It wasn't too bad. You had to have a lot of the other guy had to help you out. Basically, you just put your nose inside and hope he doesn't turn down in front of you because he could make it real difficult if they wanted to. But everyone was pretty good. Like they just give you room, so didn't have any complaints at all.
No, and you made it work for yourself tonight. Some good overtakes out there. New paint scheme as well tonight.
Yeah, figured I'd mix it up, just for the chase. Why not? So I was getting a bit bored of the old one, so give something new a go.
A favourite Taylor Swift song, or is it just one you like, kind of?
Oh, just steering a little bit, because of the chase, get a bit of drama, so. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hamish. Before I let you go, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, as I said, I'll just give a big ups to JCW. He absolutely crushed it tonight, so it's good on him. And just all the usuals for yourselves and JP and all the boys who run this league. So it's real good fun. So another good race tonight as well. So loving it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Hamish. Hopefully we'll get you back up in the booth soon. Obviously as well, good race for you for the chase too. Seems to be going quite well for you. You started the race there in 5th place. So obviously going to help you a little bit in that for the rest of the season. How are you feeling about the rest of the chase going from here?
Not quite sure, to be honest, because Hardigan had good speed tonight, but he had his usual either wins or he gets caught up in someone else's accident. And tonight it was the latter again. But looked like some of the other big boys, they were struggling, like Danny G and Ed just didn't seem to have the pace tonight. So, but I expect them to be back on it next week. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, good luck for the rest of the season, Hamish. And as I say, hopefully we'll get you back up in the booth before the end. Have a good night, and we'll see you again.
Cheers. Thanks, boys.
Hamish Gallagher there, 3rd place man for tonight. So we'll get 2nd place man down next, Jason Martin. Jason Martin for Mitch Motorsport. Welcome to the booth and congratulations on that P2.
Ooh, thanks, mate. Oh, man, that was hard work, but bloody good fun.
I was going to say, you made it a bit tough for yourself. What happened in qualifying?
The first lap, I completely stopped it and got loose, so that meant the second lap wouldn't count. So, yeah, I didn't get put a lap in.
We were wondering what happened there, so that explains that part for you. Obviously, you made up 16 positions tonight, so same amount as actually Hamish Gallagher behind you. So 16 positions for you both. Brilliant drive, though. It looked pretty tricky out there, obviously. Not much grip.
Yeah, it was pretty sketchy on exit, so you had to be pretty careful. That made passing real difficult. So when you wanted to make a pass, you had to risk spinning out.
Yeah, it did not look easy to drive out there tonight. Little bit of incident just sort of mid-race after I think the restart there. Yourself and Josh Micklemore were racing each other, as you often do. But it looked like Josh got caught up a little bit on the outside and went up into the wall. Easy thing to do here, but you guys racing as hard as ever, obviously.
You got to keep it fun.
Got to keep them honest. That's the main thing. So obviously, the words are not working for me. So obviously, this is good position as well for you again in the chase. You seem to be going well so far. Obviously, still a long way to go, but again, highest finishing chase driver again tonight. So obviously, things are starting to look good for this part of the season. How confident are you feeling for the rest of this?
Hopefully I can sort out my qualifying, although qualifying bad seems to be working better for me. Having a few good results when I qualify low. So yeah, if I can fix that up, I hope to do a bit better. These are some of the hard tracks that we've just done, and they get a little bit easier after this.
Yeah, look, hopefully the rest of the season goes well for you, and we can hopefully say that we see you a little bit further down the grid at the start and back up the front for the end of it, because it's always fun watching you race through the field, Jason.
Oh, it's definitely a fun race for me.
Thank you so much. Before I let you go, anything you'd like to say for tonight?
I got to thank the boys at Mitch Motorsports, Anscar for putting on the series, JP Simshed for the broadcast. Yeah, and well done to Joshua on the win. Bloody good drive. And Hamish, he's on fire at the moment. Watch out for him.
Yeah, they've been quick, those boys, and Hamish is definitely, the pace is coming up for him, and that's a scary prospect for the rest of the drivers out there, because he's shown some great pace, and we've seen it in the past, but he seems to be a bit more consistent now as well. Great to see, and it's great to have that competition as well.
Sure is.
Thank you so much, Jason. Hopefully we'll catch you up in the booth again very shortly. I'm sure we will. Good luck with the rest of the chase, and we'll see you again in a week or two's time.
Cheers, mate.
Jason Martin there for Mitch Motorsport. So next up, we will grab down the winning driver that put on a great show tonight and was just, all you could say is dominant. Dominated the race from start to finish, qualifying first, finishing first, fastest lap, I think, as well. Joshua Carroll Walden, how's it going?
Oh, yeah, good, Carl. Yeah, that was murder on the dance floor if there ever was one.
It was a bit. You absolutely murdered the rest of the field tonight.
Yeah, man. I was quite looking forward to this race tonight. And yeah, I thought I was going to do a good job, but I didn't realize I was going to do that well. So yeah, like to get pole, fastest lap, led every lap, the Grand Slam. Yeah, that's way beyond my expectations, but yeah, got the job done.
JCW, it's JP here.
Hey JP, how you going, mate?
Good, mate. Congratulations. I'm going to take your car and take that big A off the bonnet and swap it with a big S.
Yeah, or maybe a JCW, just just to be subtle.
Yeah, a gold one. Well done, mate.
Yeah, thanks, JP.
So a Lewis Hamilton-esque performance tonight, JCW. I mean, just absolutely dominant out there, and yeah, really good job. What was your secret tonight?
I don't know, man. Like, I was very conscious throughout the race of the guys behind me, and I did start to sweat a little about lap 80, lap 90 when I saw Martin, close me down by about 8/10 from a 3-second gap, and I was like, yeah, this might be it then, and yeah, then another caution came out, and yeah, just managed to hang on in the end there. So, mate, I don't have an answer. I just optimize my race, didn't get too far ahead of myself, and yeah, I guess it does help not being in the chase, not having that pressure that Martin, Micklemore, Skurlock have, because everyone expects those three guys to be winning races and fighting for the championship. Like, that's kind of the expectation because they're so good. But yeah, I did it last year at Texas, winning the chase from a pretty remarkable position over Danson, and close to 12 months later, I just waltzed into Richmond, and yeah, no one could get near me.
Yeah, now you just have to get consistent. That's the hard part.
Uh,
But no, brilliant drive tonight, and it's been a good season for you overall. Of course, a little bit tricky, obviously, with some real life commitments and stuff. Just meaning we didn't see you through the whole season. But it's been a good couple of races for you as well. Obviously, the Nationwide series last night for Anscar, we saw you get second place in that one. So good week overall.
Yeah. Well, I think it's actually been a good couple of months, really. Like, there's not really many instances where I've been outside the top 10, if at all. So yeah, and also as well, I did get my breakthrough cup pole at Indy not so long ago. So yeah, I'm just riding the momentum at the moment, mate, and yeah, working with Ed, Chucky, Jason Hardigan, as he's more commonly known as, Lachlan, Norman, Roger there with some good bands. We just work so well together, and yeah, we've really figured each other out. Like, we had a couple of rough weeks, and yeah, we've definitely grown from that. So I guess the championship is a bit beyond our capabilities this year. I don't think any of us have got the speed of Martin, Micklemore, Skurlock, but yeah, we're working well, and yeah, this won't be the last race win of the year, that's for sure.
No, and just before we finish up with you, obviously this year you were running independent last year, of course, which makes things different. How different has it been for you having a team behind you?
It is quite significantly different because even though last year was a long year ago and a lot has happened since then, essentially, I was, basically doing everything on my own, my strategy, how to preserve the tires, my long run pace, my short run pace, and yeah, coming into this year, I've got, four other guys, that I'm sharing information with, and, we're all helping each other out. So, yeah, it's just, it was definitely a bit rough at first trying to get used to the whole thing. Like, the Daytona 500 win at the start of the year was mega, but that kind of hid the issues of going from privateer to a fully fledged stock car team. So yeah, it's been pretty different, but it's been pretty beneficial for me at least because this is my fourth win this year in 2020, and I only had the one in 2019. So yeah, it's a massive turn up in form. So yeah, I'm great now. I just it's going to be exciting to see where I go from here.
Absolutely, and we look forward to seeing how that works out, and obviously for the rest of the chase and then into next year. So before we let you go, of course, who would you like to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, shout out to our amazing sponsors. They do a lot for us. So that's Abruzzi Australia, Goodyear Auto Care, Rana, Drive Sim, Track Racer, VR Covers, Cars for Hope. Those guys do amazing work, and they really come into their own in a year like this. Can't forget Nationwide Tracking Systems, and also Racing with Autism Australia. A fantastic organisation that's come on board in the past couple of months, and being a driver myself, who's got Asperger's. Yeah, it's great to have them on board backing me. So yeah, without those sponsors, man, we wouldn't be able to do what we do every single week. So yeah, massive shout out to those guys, and also my teammates as well: Ed, Jason, Lockie, Norman, Roger. Just great bunch of guys, and yeah, just what a great system I've got going.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Josh. We one more question before I let you go. How deaf are your teammates in the team channel after that win?
It's not as bad as the Daytona 500, but yeah, yeah, like the Daytona 500 was absolutely crazy, so obviously I'm gonna scream in that, but I did let out a few yells as I crossed the line, but yeah, I mean, like we're motorsport enthusiasts, Carl, so if you don't go death by the age of 60, you haven't been to enough races, so yeah, I'm just compensating for their lack of time at the track this year.
Thank you so much, JCW. Good luck with the rest of the season. Hopefully, we'll see you back up in the booth before the end. And good luck with the rest of the gear.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
JCW there for JP Simshed. Another good win for him. As say, started off the year with a fantastic victory and just been building up all year round. So great job from him. Before we wrap everything up, obviously, quick one from the ANSCAR side of things. So we've got the final race of the Grand National Series coming up at Watkins Glen. Yes, a road circuit in the 1987 NASCAR. That's going to be hilariously good fun. And that's on the 9th of September. And of course, that's an open series. So if you want to join us in, come and race with us. It should be an interesting one. A lot of the boys that race here in the Cup Championship race in that. If you are looking at getting into oval racing a little bit more seriously, though, we do have the truck category. And that's a great way to get into the series, a great way to start racing on ovals, and you can learn an awful lot from that one. I must admit, I've learned an awful lot myself from it. And we will be racing that one next at, once I pull up the right calendar, we'll be racing at Dover next time out. So on the 7th, we'll be racing at Dover. So if you do feel like starting up and racing on oval circuits and giving it a bit of a go, you feel like you could get into this, you could drive this sort of series, come and give it a go at Dover for the truck series, and that's next week on the Monday. JP, what's coming up on the JP Simshed Network?
Well, next week's going to be a fairly quiet week for us. We've got the Club Day Masters on Monday. After that, we're going to have a break on Tuesday and Wednesday. We normally have the Nationwide Tracking Systems V8 Evolution Championship, but we'll have a week off next week, and then we'll be back for Series 3 of the championship, and it's going to be even bigger and better than the last series. And of course, every Thursday we're broadcast the ANSCAR Abruzzi Cup.
Absolutely, back with the cup on there, and just one other thing as well with the Wednesday series for us on the ANSCAR. Obviously, last race of the Grand National Series coming up. But if you do feel like having some fun on Wednesday nights, we are going to be racing sort of a bit of a single run, single make, single tour race for the rest of the year on the Wednesdays. The first one of those is actually going to be a speedway night, so back on the dirt ovals, street stocks, super late models, fixed setup, and that will be not next Wednesday, but not this Wednesday coming, but the Wednesday afterwards. So yeah, some fun stuff for the league there, and of course over with the JP Simshed Network of broadcasting some great races coming up too for you, and the new season is looking good for the V8s. So with that, we will put a close to tonight's broadcast. We thank you for joining us, and thank you to all our sponsors. JP, I'll let you run through them quickly.
So big shout out to all of our sponsors: Abruzzi Racewear Australia, Virtual Motorsport Mentor, hybrid racing simulations with some amazing racing simulation gear. I've got a bunch of stuff coming from Hybrid soon. iLiveries, who not only do some incredible paints but also overlay art, and Track Cams for Gourmets, who always supply us with these amazing camera angles. So big shout out to those guys. Without their help and support, this series and this kind of broadcasting we wouldn't be able to do it.
No, it would not look nearly as good as it does. So thank you so much to all those guys, and thank you so much to all the guys for racing. So from myself, Carl Withy, I wish you a good night. And I imagine JP will wish you a good night too.
Absolutely. So from me, JP, it's a good night.
And we will see you all again for the next Abruzzi ANSCAR Cup. Bye-bye.